What's up guys, Miguel here. This video is a little bit different because we're not actually showing you videos that we created, but instead we're actually going behind the scenes into why we got the shots we did, how we got them. So we're going to be diving into the 3 segments showcasing the athletics behind Vancouver College in the Vancouver College Recruiting video. This is one of my favorite videos, if not my favorite video I've ever created, because there are so many moving parts. We were actually able to showcase multiple different environments and everything came together really nicely. So let's jump in behind the scenes and take you inside the mind behind the lens. If you haven't already, watched the Vancouver College Recruiting video so that way you can follow along and kind of have an idea of what we're talking about here when we're going into specific shots. Now, the shot that we're going to be going over first is the football shot. Getting these shots, I was super excited because I actually played football at Vancouver College, and it was always a dream of mine to create something football related, something really cool, cinematic. So we're going to play it real quick, and I'm just going to give my input as we go along here. So let's have a look at this. So that was about 8 to 10 seconds of football footage. There were really 3 shots that we wanted to get. The first shot is kind of like a hero shot. So the subject just standing in the middle, kind of like an epic scene of him head down staring into the camera. The next scene, I knew I wanted something very immersive, something to feel like you were actually on the field, watching this happen right before your eyes. So I wanted him to basically run as close as he could to the camera. And it ended up looking really nice. This is how it looked. Which transitioned to the next scene, which was him running down the field. Now this shot is actually only a few seconds long, but again, this is a shot I had in mind. I pictured it, I envisioned it. This was actually taken with a drone. The challenge here was flying as close as we could to the subject. In this case, it was a player, without putting him in danger. Because the drones are kind of dangerous. If you hit someone, it can cut someone. So we just had to be really careful. This is actually cropped in, but we had to get the timing just right. So we had the drone kind of get a head start. Then we had him kind of chase the drone, but run beside it. And it actually turned out really nice. This was the top speed my drone could fly at, which ended up being his top speed. So it was perfect because they were going along right beside each other. Once we got the footage for these shots, all it took was a little bit of color grading, as well as adding an effect, the handheld effect, which completely changed the scene. And if you look right here, you can see what it looked like before we added the handheld effect versus after. And you could tell it feels like you're there. It's very immersive because it's almost like you're feeling every detail. It's like you're there running alongside him. Then we also added some footage, obviously not the highest quality, but the most important here was capturing, the peak of where the program is at. This is footage we had sent to us from the school, showing that Vancouver College plays at the highest level when it comes to football. And you can see here, they're provincial champions, and that's what we wanted to showcase. The next scene was the basketball scene, and we just got as many shots as possible because we weren't really sure how we wanted this to look. We did want it to flow in some way though. So we had them repeat the same kind of action a bunch of times. We just captured it from multiple different angles. So let's go ahead and watch what the scene looked like. And if you listen really closely there with headphones, you can actually hear, the fans chanting. And that audio kind of carries on through the next few scenes just to give, again, that immersive effect to feel like you're there. Another thing that you might not have noticed right off the bat was I actually tried to line it up perfectly so that where they are in the court in this shot matches where they are on the court in the video when they're actually playing in game. So if we go ahead and play this again, you can see he passes the ball to his teammate and right outside the 3-point line on kind of the left side of the court. And if you see the next scene in game, he's actually in that same area, almost the same spot on the court. And that's just some continuity there to kind of help the scene flow. Because if we had this scene, if we had him past him here, and the next shot is him, in the corner of the court taking a shot. It wouldn't really make sense. It doesn't flow as well. So I cut it in a way that as soon as he passes it to him, it's almost like he's in the same spot on the court and like he teleported into a real game. This last basketball part here, I knew I wanted to transition to another scene. I wanted to make it epic, so I kind of timed it perfectly. So as soon as he dunked the basketball, that's when it cut to the next sport, which was rowing. So have a look here and just really listen to the beat drop and the slam dunk. It's almost pretty much perfectly timed. And then we go into the rowing shot. So the rowing was the last sports scene we were showcasing, and this was epic because I actually spent about 2 hours riding around on a speedboat in Falls Creek chasing these rowers, cameras, drones, everything. So it was pretty candid. I pretty much just captured their regular rowing practice. So sometimes with filming, we'll have special requests like I had with the football and basketball players. But for these rowers, I pretty much told the coach to pretend I wasn't there. I knew I wanted to get overhead shots as well as shots with the city in the background. If you notice, most of these scenes with rowing, when we're in a wider space, as the scene progresses, we move closer in. And the reason we do that is to really take the viewer on a journey and again, make them feel immersed in the scene. This was a recruiting video, so we wanted the prospective students watching this to feel like they were actually there. And seeing as athletics is a huge part of Vancouver College culture, we wanted to highlight various aspects of their athletics, showing pretty much the top 3 sports in the school. And then we ended the athletic portion of the video with a hero shot of the different sports. So as you can see here, there's rowers, basketball, and football. So sometimes when there's not really a plan and you don't have specific shots in mind, just get as many angles as you can, because that will help you paint a picture when you're editing. You can pull this angle in, the front angle, side angle, overhead. For this overhead shot, I didn't really have a plan to get it specifically at that specific time, at that specific place. I just knew they were going to be rowing, there's going to be water around, and that was a shot that I really, really wanted. And this was almost perfectly lined up, perfectly straight. The rowers are rowing all in sync, just perfectly fits the frame. So this actually turned out nicely, which is why, all of these little things that you don't realize when you're watching a video, but this is what goes into making a video like this. So let's watch that whole sports scene again and just keep in mind everything we talked about, everything we mentioned about really having everything flow. Even with those rowing shots, we filmed for about 2 hours there, but as you can see, this section is only about maybe 10 to 12 seconds. It's good to have a bunch of footage from a shoot, especially with shoots like this where you can't really redo it. I mean, you can, but it's such a hassle. So when you're in shoots like this, I drove all the way to Falls Creek for this. We hopped on a boat, had my drone out, had my whole setup ready. You want to capture as much as you can, because for you to go back and reshoot something like this, you're talking about another 8 hours of work. While you're here, you might as well just capture as much as you can. But anyways, that covers the athletic portion of the Vancouver College Recruiting video. Kind of just dove inside the mind of what goes into something like this. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, comment down below. It's actually really interesting going back and just rethinking, why did I get that shot? And then I specifically remember exactly why I got the shot I did. And it's really cool as a video creator to go back and look at all my work and try to figure out, why did I do a certain thing this way? And it just helps me become better. It also teaches you guys, if you're going to create a video, then hopefully something like this helps you in that process, as well as for any of the clients we work with. There's a lot more that goes into creating a video than just hitting record and, getting cool shots.